So your offer shouldn't be complicated to the point where your target demographic has no idea what they're getting into when they book your package. There should not be any confusion on what it is that you're offering, because you have to clearly state what it is that you're offering, so that when you do list out the details, people understand what the details are.
Welcome to the Side-HustlHER Podcast, your go-to space for content creation, actionable strategy, and the real behind the scenes of building a business while you're still balancing a full-time job. Every week we talk about what actually works, what doesn't, and how to create content that moves your business forward without burning you out. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back to the Side-HustlHER Podcast. I am your host, Carly LeBlanc, and I'm so excited to have you on today's episode. And I am the CEO and founder of CD Creative Co., which is a content creation agency based in Houston, Texas, where we help service providers create content that connects and converts. If you're new here, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the channel. I'm so excited to have you here. But let's get into today's episode. So, as many of you know, I help business owners, specifically service providers, create content that connects and converts. And one of the things that I often get asked about a lot is, how can you create content that actually converts? Now, when I say content that actually converts, I'm talking about content that pushes your followers to actually pay for whatever it is that you're creating the content for. That's what that means when someone says content that converts. Now, a lot of people are on social media specifically for the goal of being able to create content to actually get people to buy whatever it is that you're selling. But a lot of people typically miss the mark because they're not actually creating strategic content to actually push their followers or potential viewers through the buying process of their business. And so in this episode, we are going to be diving in on how to create content that actually converts to paying customers, okay? We're going to talk about why clearly selling your offer versus selling your business is one of the pivotal things that you could do in your content to actually be able to push people down the buying journey of your business. Then we're going to talk about what you should be focusing on in your content rather than what most people typically focus on in their content when it comes to actually creating selling content or content to actually push a sell. And lastly, we're going to talk about what it actually looks like to create intentional and strategic content that actually connects to your audience and pushes them to buy. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
Have you ever found yourself stuck on what to post or struggling to stay consistent on social media? I've been there, and that's exactly why I created this free guide called 30 Days of Done-For-You Social Media Prompts for Personal Brands. This guide is loaded with prompts to get your gears turning so you can have a gallery of content to create for your brand and never stress about what to post again. And you can grab it right now at cdcreativecoagency.com/content and start creating content that connects without the stress.
Okay, so like I said in the intro, one of the common things that a lot of people struggle with is that they're creating content, but the content that they're creating is not actually connecting or converting because they're basically just posting random content. This could be in formats of graphics with stock images. This could be B-rolls that don't necessarily relate to their offer. This could also be behind the scenes of things that aren't actually relevant to your business. So if you are creating those pieces of content, then this episode is for you. But also, don't feel discouraged because we all make these mistakes. We're all doing this, and you're here because you want to learn how to do better. And so one of the first things that I'm going to suggest you do is that you are going to create content that sells your offer rather than your business. What does that mean? That means that a lot of people are online and they're talking about their business. They're talking about, oh, I created this business. This business is amazing. I love doing this and we do this and we do that. But we're not actually talking about the offer. what is the offer? I'm sure your business is amazing, but what is it that you're actually selling? If you're not creating content that is specific to what you're selling, that could be just a regular package, that could be a promotion that you're pushing, that could be a bundle, that could be a workshop, that could be anything that you're selling. If you're not creating content specifically for what you're selling, then you could be missing the mark when it comes to potential customers and people that are already coming across your content organically. We already know that it takes a long time for our organic content to actually get more eyes, more views. And so you want to make sure that when you are creating content, you're creating content specifically aligned with the offer rather than your business. A complete stranger does not care about your business. They care about your offer and why it's important to them. Now, the next thing I'm going to suggest you do is that you niche down. I know that this sounds cliche. I know that this is something that a lot of people are always talking about online. It's literally like everywhere, someone's talking about niche down, niche down, niche down, niche down. But I don't think that people actually teach people how to niche down. And so when I'm telling you to niche down, I'm telling you to find an audience and become a specialist in solving their problem. So when I first decided to start my business, I was just open to taking on anyone who had money, right? And I would find myself in the place of working with all types of different people and businesses. I would work with nonprofits. I would work with product-based businesses. I would work with service-based businesses. And what I felt like I had to do is that I couldn't actually become a specialist because every single time someone would come and inquire about working with me, I felt like I was always starting from ground zero. I was always having to learn something new every single time I got a client. So if I'm working with nonprofit who specializes in helping kids that are on the spectrum, and then now I'm working with a product-based business who's selling body oils and bath soaps, and now I'm working with someone who is offering a mastermind or coaching program. All of the funnels, all of the goals are all different. All of the strategies are all different. And so when it comes to actually niching down, I decided after taking inventory of all of my clients that I had, I want to say in 2025, I took inventory and I said, you know what? When I think about all of the people that I enjoyed working with, that I felt like I just was, at ease, it was easy for me, it came easy for me, it always ended up being with a service provider. And so that's what helped me niche down from not only all businesses, but specifically niching down to service providers. Now, after I started working with service providers, now there's different categories of service providers. You have hairstylists, you have coaches, you have consultants, you have realtors, you have healthcare providers. And so as all of those people started to come into my world, it helped me to be able to get more specific in who I really, really serve, which then became more so coaches, consultants, and healthcare providers, which doesn't mean necessarily that I don't help all service providers, but when it comes to my marketing message, when it comes to the content that I'm putting out, most of the time when you see my content, they're going to be either with a coach, a consultant, or a healthcare provider. Now, let me tell you why this is beneficial for business owners in general. Now that I'm understanding service providers, funnels, there is always going to be a parallel of my process where I can rinse and repeat my process, but also where I can actually become a specialist in that process. So no matter what type of service provider that comes through my virtual doors, I have a process, I have a strategy that is specifically catered to service providers that I have gotten really good on. And so that's what you want to be. That's how you want to create content to show people that, hey, I am the specialist for this group of people, for solving the problems that this group of people have, and you clearly convey that you do that through your content. So whenever I'm posting content online, you'll see me talk about healthcare providers, you'll see me talk about coaches, you'll see me talk about service providers, but you will also see me talking about the pain points, the goals that they have, and using that in my marketing message. The goals of someone that has a product-based business is completely different different than the goals that someone that has a service-based business. The funnel of someone that has a product-based business is completely different than the funnel for someone that is pushing coaching programs, masterminds, workshops, things of that sort. So I highly suggest that if you have been in business for some time and you are a generalist, you help all people, you love all people, I want to challenge you in 2026 to get a little bit more specific in the groups of people that you serve. If you serve a baker, maybe you serve baked goods for birthday parties and maybe not so weddings, or maybe you create desserts for churches or nonprofits or whatever. Get specific on the things that you do and do them really well. But then also when it comes to your content that you're creating, you want to be strategic in the way of showcasing that these are the people that you serve. These are the people that you love to serve. These are the people that you're specialized to serve. And that is what's going to help you build authority around your industry, around your niche, and specialize in your audience pain points and goals.
Y'all already know I'm all about working smarter and not harder, especially when it comes to marketing your brand. And if you're still relying only on social media to reach your audience, we need to fix that immediately. Social media is cute, but let's be real. The algorithm is unpredictable, and your content is probably only reaching a small percentage of your followers. That's why I swear by email marketing, because when I send an email, I know 100% of my subscribers are getting my messages. And the best part, Flowdesk makes it ridiculously easy. You can send beautiful on-brand emails, automate your sequences, and even create landing pages without needing to be tech savvy. And because you're listening, I got you a deal. Use my code Side-Hustle at checkout and you'll get 50% off your Flowdesk subscription for the next 12 months. So if you're ready to stop relying on algorithms and start building an email list that actually converts, try Flowdesk for free. And don't forget to use the code Side-Hustle at checkout for that exclusive 50% off.
Okay, so let's move on to number 3. And that is going to be, we are selling the details of our offer and not the transformation. Now, let me tell you this. This is one of the common things that I see most business owners struggle with, is that they'll have a compelling offer. It's a brilliant offer. It's an amazing offer. And when they're creating their content, they're like, you get this and you get this and you get this and you get this. But your audience doesn't care about that. Your audience cares about the transformation that they're going to receive when they hire you for whatever it is that you're promising. You're more likely to actually book me to come in to do your content if I'm telling you that the transformation you're going to get is you're going to have content to show consistently and you're going to have content to convert your followers into customers. You're going to be highly likely to actually booking me for that service. Rather, if I say, you're going to get a VIP content day with 50 photos and 35 videos and B-rolls and edits, and it's all going to be pretty and it's all going to get delivered to you. It doesn't sound as compelling as before. People make decisions based off of emotions. They make decisions when your transformation is aligned with their goals. And so when it comes to you creating content for your offer, you want to always go back to the transformation that you're promising. Why is this important for your ideal customer? Why should they pay you? Why should they trust you? Why do they need to make this a decision right now to actually book you for the service that you're offering? These are the critical pieces of content that you want to create. We're not just talking about the details of our offer, but we're talking about the transformation that we're going to provide when someone actually decides to book us for whatever service it is that we provide. So transformations can be goal-driven or they can be pain point driven, but whatever you decide, make sure that in your content, you are clearly stating what the transformation is. For myself, I tell people you are going to have content that connects and converts. Connects and converts. People want community. They want their followers to actually be a part of their community. That is the connection piece. But they also want their content to bring in customers. That is the converting aspect. So take your business, take inventory. If you don't have a transformation statement right now, I highly recommend that you create one. And that just looks like, what is the transformation someone's going to get when working with you. You can clearly write it out, pencil, paper, brainstorm your idea and then put it into ChatGPT and have them refine it to make it sound better. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that in your marketing message or your bio and your content on your website, your transformation statement is plastered everywhere. There should be no confusion on what transformation people get when they work with you. But also you want to make sure that you actually can get people that transformation. And that goes into my next thing where I'm talking about social proof content.
Okay, let me put y'all onto something, because if you're creating content and you're not using ManyChat, you are leaving money on the table. And that's on period. I use ManyChat for all of my DM automations, and I'm constantly telling my clients this. DM automations are one of the best ways for you to convert your content. Why? Because you're getting direct links straight to your audience without them having to wait for you to manually respond to DMs. You can send links to your lead magnets, event tickets, your offers, checkout pages, literally anything that you're selling automatically. It's fast, it's seamless, and it removes friction for your audience. But what I love most is not how just convenient it is, but how strategic it is. Because you can also track your conversions and see where your leads are coming from and understand what content is driving real results. Not just likes, not just views, actual data. And if you want to try it out, I got a code for you. Use my code to get 30% off of ManyChat for your first 3 months. You can scan the QR code on your screen, or if you're listening, head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/ManyChat to grab your discount now. Trust me, once you automate your DMs, you will never look back.
Social proof content is going to be the piece of content that actually backs up your transformation. Because it's not just good to say, I'm going to give you this transformation, but no one can vouch for that transformation, or no one has actually gotten that transformation. So you want to make sure that when you are creating these transformation statements, when you're putting it in your marketing message, you also have social proof content to back it up, to make it sound like you're actually doing what you're saying you're going to do, because that's what's also going to help potential customers actually decide to work with you. All right, so let's move on to number 4. And that is creating content without the intention of selling. So a lot of people always come to me and they're like, I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound salesy. But the thing is that we are on social media as business owners to sell. So how can you sell without sounding salesy? So with that being said, we have to understand that social media is a tool. Yes, it is great for entertainment. Yes, it is great for having the aesthetic content, but you can have all of those things. And if you're not creating content that actually pushes your offer or that actually sells your offer, then you're basically wasting time. And so when it comes to actually creating content, you have to create sales content. What does sales content look like? That typically can be in the form of B-rolls, that could be in the form of talking head videos, that could be in the form of carousels, but all that means is you're creating content that addresses a pain point or challenge that your audience has, and you're offering a solution to the problem or the pain point that that audience has, and then you're inviting them to take the next action step to actually being able to solve that problem. So if the problem is that you are creating content, but it's not converting to customers, and I'm telling you that book a VIP content day, this is going to help you to have content to actually convert your followers into customers. And then my call to action after that is to comment the word content, to click the link in my bio to get started. That is what sales content looks like. It doesn't always look like buy this, buy this, buy this, but you always want to make sure you're relating it back to your audience. We cannot create content that is selfish content, talking about me, I, me, I. It has to be content that actually is for them, because if they can't see themselves in the content that you're creating, they're not going to buy. But if you create content with them in mind, with their pain points in mind, with their goals in mind, then it's going to be able to connect with them, to also have that empathy piece where you actually see them when you created the offer, but then also going to help them to actually take action on what it is that you want them to do next. But you have to get over this hurdle that you don't want to create sales content, because listen, if you don't want to create sales content, your business will not actually generate sales from your content.
Okay, quick pause. If creating consistent content feels like a full time job on top of your full time job, then you're going to want to hear this. I am excited to bring to you Batch, which is a new marketplace platform that I and my co founder, Lauren, have created, built for entrepreneurs and content creators. This is the marketplace that is going to connect business owners and entrepreneurs who need content with vetted local creators who can help them plan, shoot, and edit their content all in one place. So many of you have asked, when am I going to be able to book you for a content day? When can you come to my city? Do you know anyone in my city that does what you do? And this is going to be the solution. So whether you're an entrepreneur who is tired of struggling to find reliable content creators, photographers, or maybe you're just a creator who's ready to get booked and paid without having to go through the social media marketing of your business, Batch is going to be the platform that bridges that gap. So, say for instance, if you're flying to New York for a speaking engagement and you need content there, or even if you have a vendor pop up event in New Orleans and you need content there, Batch is going to be the creator marketplace that helps you get high quality content to market your brand online. It's designed to help you finally show up online with strategy, with confidence, and create consistent content that converts and actually helps you reach your visibility and revenue goals without the overwhelm. So if you're ready to make content creation easier and more intentional, head over to batchcontent.com. That's BATCHED content.com. Join the waitlist so you are the first to know when Batch is launched in your city.
All right, let's move to number 5, which is only creating content that is top of funnel. What does that mean? So content that is only top of funnel looks like educational content, looks like, just like I said, addressing the pain points, addressing the challenges, addressing the solutions or the goals, but not necessarily diving in a little bit deeper. Not creating content that shows your personality, not creating content that is actually social proof content. There's other pieces of content in addition to top of funnel content that is also necessary as your content strategy. You have to have a variety of content. You don't want to just go on your feed and all you're doing is selling. Buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. Click this, click this, click this, click this. Comment this, comment this, comment this, comment this. You get it. But you want to have content that also shows your personality. It shows behind the scenes of what it looks like to work with you. It shows your clients and their experience working with you. It shows your unique standpoints on the problems that you solve. You want to make sure that you have a equilibrium or ecosystem of content that is working in your favor, because instead of you always posting sales content, you're actually giving people a glimpse of what it's like to work with you and also what your personality is. And the thing is that people buy off emotions. If they can feel your energy through the screen, they're more likely to actually pull the trigger and buy from you whatever it is that you're selling. So don't just focus on the educational content as your main source of content. Showcase the behind the scenes. Showcase, the ugly, messy middle. Showcase the mistakes that you've made in business. Showcase the things that go right in business. Showcase your wins. Maybe you decide to show, your day in the life or, whatever. Be open to being creative, being open to showing the things that are always related to business, just so people can actually get a glimpse of who you are. Especially as a service provider, we have to be the face of our brands. And most of the time, people love to be able to connect where different aspects of your lives. So many of you have connected with me because you work a 9-to-5, just like me. So many people have connected with me because you're a mompreneur, just like me. And so you want to be able to showcase the things that you're comfortable with, but also that give a glimpse of your personality, your character, the things that actually matter to you, your mission, your values, but also showcasing different people that have gotten great results, that have gotten great transformations from actually working with you and trusting you and investing in your business. All right, so that brings me to my last point, and that is going to be your offer should not be complicating. Well, I guess that goes back to my first point, but let's elaborate on that a little bit. So your offer shouldn't be complicated to the point where your target demographic has no idea what they're getting into when they book your package. There should not be any confusion on what it is that you're offering, because you have to clearly state what it is that you're offering. Now, I know I just talked about, creating content more so for transformations and not details, but you want to make sure that when you do list out the details, people understand what the details are. So many times there are business owners that will put their offers into ChatGPT, and they'll have ChatGPT use these fancy and, industry lingo that regular people who are not in the industry, they don't understand. And then the package doesn't land because we don't know what we're buying. If your package is a coaching package, there's nothing wrong with just calling it a coaching package. If your package is, a membership, there's nothing wrong with just calling it a membership. There's nothing wrong with it calling it a content membership or a content package or content coaching. Because guess what? When a stranger comes across my videos and comes across my pages and comes across my content, and I'm telling them, join the content membership or join the content day or join the content coaching program, they know exactly what that is. But when we go wrong is when we have these fancy names for our packages and we're like, oh, it sounds good, but we don't even know what it is. And because people that are confused, they don't buy. And so when it comes to your offer, make sure your offer is clear. If a fifth grader was to land on your landing page or your content, would they clearly understand what is included in that offer? If the answer is no, then that means that your content and your offer might be a little bit confusing. And so I would highly suggest you get really clear and really specific on your offer, but then also making sure that it has the things that people actually care about. That's where it goes back to you understanding your audience, understanding their pain point. It's not good for you to just load up an offer with things that people don't want. You want to have an offer that actually speaks to the challenges and the pain points that they're having, but then also they can clearly understand, this is going to help me. This is going to help me. When people look at my content day packages, they see, you're going to have a 3-hour shoot where we batch shoot all of your content. You're going to get either 12 edited photos and 12 edited videos, or 24 edited photos and 24 edited videos. You're also going to get B-rolls and the raw video footage. People know for a fact this is going to help me. Why? Because they're going to take inventory and they're going to see if I'm posting 3 times a week, then I know for a fact this 12 and 12 package is going to take care of my content for a month. If I get the 24 and 24 package, then that's going to take care of my content for 2 months. They're able to identify that because they know and they're able to clearly understand what the package is. But if I were to use some industry specific knowledge or industry specific verbiage or lingo, it could get confusing to where now confused people are not buying, and now your offer is not landing with the person that you're actually wanting to connect with. So take inventory of your offer, look at your offer, fine tune your offer, and make sure that your offer is clear enough for a 5th grader to understand what is included. And if it doesn't, then make sure that you refine it to where it does. All right, my friends, that is it for today's episode. I hope that you have some takeaways to work on. Now listen, if you're like, sis, I'm doing all of these things wrong, that is totally fine. You are not alone, okay? But knowledge is power. Now that you know better, you will do better. And if you need extra support, you know where to find me. You can find me at cdcreativecodeagency.com. If you want to book a discovery call, it's just cdcreativecodeagency.com/book. And if you're not already following me on socials, head over to Instagram. That's where I spend most of my time. And follow me on all social platforms at cd.creativeco. I am so excited that you came and spent your day with me. If you got a lot of good feedback or takeaways from this video, let me know in the comments. Let me know on Instagram. I love hearing from you all. And without further ado, I will see you guys in my next video next week. Have a great one, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Side-HustlHER Podcast. If today's episode gave you clarity or the push you needed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you want more behind-the-scenes content and strategy in real time, come hang out with me on Instagram at cd.creativeco. I'll see you in next week's episode.